Run with Big Baller brand. ESPN reported this weekend that Lonzo cut ties with his father's company because of concerns with his dad's friend, Alan Foster, who is a part owner of the company. Ball said that Foster, quote, used his access to my business and personal finances to enrich himself. Lonzo is apparently missing about $1.5 million from his personal and business accounts and is pointing the finger at Foster. We're joined by FS1 NBA analyst, Chris Broussard. Good morning.
Good morning.
I will start with Shannon here, though. What's your reaction to this story?
Sad. I'm disappointed. If these allegations are true, that someone, and it's normally family, someone that's close to you, that you trust, although this guy's not blood related, but he's almost like family. He trusted him. LeVar was supposed to be overlooking this also, but I believe LeVar spread himself too thin. Trying to.
You mean like overseeing it?
Overseeing everything.
Everything.
You know, he's trying to get Jello into the NBA. He's trying to get LaMelo to a school.
Yep.
He's got a water company. He's trying to grow Big Baller. And while you're doing all this, there's someone siphoning money from your elder son. Allegedly.
Yeah.
And it's just sad that this is happening. I'm glad Lonzo is starting to, it looks like he's starting to take ownership of his career.
Sure does.
I mean, if you take his Instagram post at face value, he says, I'm a man now, I'm going to be my man, I'm moving in a different direction. It reported that the Lakers think that the big ball and shoe might have had something to do with
They asked Lonzo. You think it's the shoes?
Yeah.
It's got to be the shoes.
This is what
He
we
was
know.
playing in buddies, all right? You know what that is.
Yeah, I know what buddies are. But normally when you start a shoe, there's a lot of R&D that goes into that shoe. I don't know how much research and development went into Big Baller brand. I'm just saying, Skip,
Did you get yours? I don't know.
Did you ever get them?
I did, yeah.
Well, what do you think of them? I held them. They look all right, but
I got the first model. If I was the first model. Now, if I was a security guard with a flashlight, you know what I'm trying to make sure everything.
you can wear them. They be all right.
They good for that. But that's about
That's
it.
quite an endorsement.
But here's the thing. If I'm Lonzo, Skip, do you know this guy's resume? This guy was sentenced to more than 7 years, pleading guilty to mail fraud and 2 counts of money laundering, defrauding 70 investors of $4 million. And you put him in charge of the money? Come on, Skip. A guy got arrested, spent time in prison for mail fraud and embezzling, and you put him in charge of the money. That makes no sense. You can't, there's no way. I don't care if it's my brother. My brother gonna do time for stealing money. He can't be in charge of my money. Now, somebody else might be fool enough to let him be in charge, but he can't be in charge of mine. So I'm sorry, Lonzo. I hope this is not true. And if it is true, I hope you can recoup everything. But Skip, man, people don't know. People ain't gonna do. I lost some money one time. I lost a big chunk of money one time. And I want to put that thing to his head. Real talk, Skip Bayless. But you know what I'm saying? You know what? I go to jail. I'm going to go to jail because I'm going to go to jail. I know I'm going to go to jail. And then my kids were very young then. It wasn't 1.5. It was 500,000, Skip. And the dude took it. A lot of dudes took it. And I really thought about it. I really did think about it.
Friend?
No, he wasn't a friend. It's somebody, you know, I trust. Someone, you know, this guy's doing a good job. I mean, at first he was doing a good job. But all good things come to an end. And I'm glad the discretion was that, you know, I thought about it. But, man, this is $1.5 million is a lot of money. First of all, if it's $2, I worked hard to get those $2, and you took my money.
I'm with you, Shannon. This is sad, number one. We know this guy, Alan Foster's been up here. We've all had, you know, LeVar's been on the show.
He comes every time with the.
Yeah, seemed like a nice guy.
He runs their social media.
So it was sad. When I saw the story and his picture, it was just stunned because you had dealt with this guy. And also for all the mistakes that LeVar has made, and there's plenty, with all 3 of his sons. I mean, LiAngelo should still be at UCLA.
Sure.
LaMelo should still have college eligibility. You know, if he hadn't gone there. I mean, he's done made some major mistakes with those kids. However, you could always say it seemed like he meant well.
Yes.
And I think he did mean well. And he loved this family. So what I hope, because there's reports that the kids have removed the pictures of their dad and Big Baller Brand from Instagram. I hope that the family is not estranged. Now, obviously, you got to get rid of Alan Foster.
Yeah.
But hopefully, and the dad, I mean, not looking at the emails. You mentioned putting the guy in charge of the money. That was terrible. Not looking at the email from the agent. They sent it in October about all the misdeeds financially. Reportedly, LeVar didn't look at it until a week ago. So that's horrible. So I get why if they're mad with their dad, I get it. But hopefully they will be able to work it out as a family and just be a regular family. Like the dad, you're not involved with my business.
You're a dad.
You're just a dad. You're just a dad. Now, I think, like you said, it's great for Lonzo. He hashtagged on Instagram, my own man. I didn't like him putting the number 2 in the rafters. Just become a legitimate starter first. You know what I mean? Like, but I think we're going to see the best of Lonzo, like whatever that is, whether that's an all-star like Skip may think, or that's just a good starter, whatever. I think he's going to get a better trainer.
Yes.
I think he'll be healthier, whether it's the sneakers or not. I just think we'll see the best of Lonzo going forward. And I would say this, Shannon, and maybe you can relate to it. Sometimes, and I've been a victim in the black community with the racism historically, and that still goes on today with mass incarceration, with the war on drugs. I know guys that have spent many years in prison. I got some friends that have spent many years in prison. And a lot of times you give them the benefit of the doubt. Because you may think they may have done something wrong, or maybe the system, caught up with them, or you think they're rehabilitated. And now I wouldn't have put him in charge of the money, like you said, but I've been burned by I haven't lost money, and obviously not to this extent, but I've been disappointed. I trusted some guys that have been in prison that I thought they would change their behavior. I thought, and I've ended up disappointed because they didn't act like I thought they would. And so I can understand when LeVar said, I believe the best in people. I can understand how he may have known about this guy's background, but still thought, this is my man, I can trust him.
He wouldn't do that to me.
He was burned.
He wouldn't do that to us, Skip.
Right.
So obviously, I remain a big Lonzo fan, basketball-wise. This just tears me up for how hard his father made it for this kid. Because not only did he just about talk him straight out of the league as the number 2 overall pick, playing point guard for Magic Johnson in his home area of Los Angeles. That's hard enough. But when you say he's better than Steph, he's better than LeBron, blah, 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 it just makes it harder and harder. And we all hark back to Patrick Beverley on opening night. Just said, I'm going to destroy this kid, and I'm going to point to you in the stands, LeVar, because this is for you, not for this poor kid, because he's just an NBA baby. I don't know what, this has got to be devastating, embarrassing, completely distracting when you're trying to play basketball and you got this hanging over your head. And this is why I'm so disappointed in LeVar. And I've defended him many times on this show just because he loves his kids to a fault. But LeVar is straight out of Compton, and I thought he had one of the highest BS detectors you could have because he knows the streets.
Right.
He should be able to see it and feel it before it happens. And I'm pretty sure he knew nothing about Alan Foster's background. And when he met Alan Foster, he was fresh out of prison for financial fraud. Worse, if you go back to his records, Alan Foster had gotten busted on a gun charge, carrying a weapon without a permit, and then he violated his probation on top of that. And then he went to, and listen to what the prosecutor said about the financial prosecuting of Alan Foster. He says they targeted African Americans that they got to know through churches and by other means, and they made various misrepresentations of them about their ability to return large sums on investments, which were false. Now, that's just the lowest of the low to me, and that's the guy you chose because he had a son who was in 7th grade with Lonzo at Chino Hills, whatever that middle school would be there, right? And because the sons became buddies, then all of a sudden, Alan Foster was able to